It's a new day, a new dawn, a new year, and a new game. That's right, welcome to the Genting Highland Resorts for ESL One Genting 2017. The crowd are in the house, in the Arena of Stars, and we have some stars here for you to enjoy over the next 3 days of Dota2 action, the first esports tournament of 2017. We can't wait to get into it. They say esports never sleeps. They're definitely not wrong when 2017 is concerned. We've also got some stars at the desk, of course, to help guide you through all of the expert analysis that is required, and we've got Malk as well. Let's introduce you all three. I was going to start early, but I was going to give you your own introductions as well. Alongside me is a man who, let's just say he's done some stuff with 7.0. You know, just like a 9-hour video. We say thank you, Purge.
No problem.
Thanks, Purge.
Thanks, Purge. And alongside him is a man who has won not one, but 2 Caster of the Year awards this year. Well done. He's also got a haircut that doesn't match any heroes in game for the first time this year. Well done.
He's also won 2 games out of the 150 he's played on 7.
We don't talk about defeats here.
I mean, at least
Jacob.
I played 150 games.
We also have a man who has joined us as well. This man is a bit of a legend in Dota 2. Player, obviously, in the past. Then decided to move on and become a manager in League of Legends and failed. And has now moved on and become a manager in Counter-Strike Global Offensive with a team called North. Over the next 3 days, he'll be focusing on the fact that he doesn't want his Dota 2 career to go south. He is, of course, Malk.
Thanks, Paul. That was the best one yet.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. How are you all doing anyway? Jokes aside, everyone excited?
Yeah, excited for the new patch.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get this underway. We'll talk about that in just a moment as well. First, I just want to wrap up last year, 2016. It was an incredible year. Record-breaking year for Dota 2 yet again. Fantastic events all the way through, and it ends with Boston, which, again, fantastic results. Adfin, probably the story of the tournament as well. And then OG win another major. Just so many cool things happening. But it's all changed, Cap.
We've hit the hard reset button.
Thrown it all up in the air and it's all going to land on the floor again.
Yeah, I think this is 7.0 is definitely an opportunity. I've seen so many people, and I'm sure Purge has too, like you're the big guy that newbies look to, right? And I've seen so many people who are like, oh, I'm actually going to try out Dota because of 7.0, because it's such a big difference. I feel like, I can get my feet on the ground where other people already had a step above me, right? But now it's like the great evener.
Great leveler.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
7.0
is
even Jacob can play now.
Oh, continue. Everyone is bad now. That's how I feel like. But it's also weird to me that everyone keeps losing their games. Like, who's winning? I see Austin's profile, all his games
2
are
out of
lost.
500.
Whoever I talk to, all their games are lost. Who's
Kevin's
actually winning?
I'll tell you who's
Kevin's winning.
Hero spammers.
I've won a lot of unranked games. Does that count?
That counts. No, it counts right now anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk about 7.00 and 7.01, obviously, we've got in play now. Kevin, let's start with talent trees. Massive change for the game.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stolen idea, but it's something I really like. It gives you a lot more variety in what you can build and lots of different ways that you can play different heroes. So ways that you can adjust in-game. So once you're committed to a Crystal Maiden pick, if you really want a DPS, you can. And I really like that addition to the game. It allows more itemization differences, more players to play a stronger version of their role if they happen to have a great game. So maybe those really big playmaking 4 positions, could see a lot more impact from them.
Yeah, you can do Lich carry. You can do
You probably could.
Chaos Knight support.
Speaking of which, I lost to a Sanctioned Yasha Desolator Lich.
Purge agreed with me then as well. I'm going to take that.
He just ran me over. There
Really?
was nothing I could do. It was like built-in Skadi with all the AWP effects. It's so fast too, the new Lich. It's ridiculous.
it's amazing what kind of things you can do in the 3K bracket.
Yeah.
Not everything is enjoyable. Obviously, with change comes, worry, and people look at the game and they kind of, I don't like this anymore. Why can't I have this back? And you've got a bit of a beef with Shrines, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I like what Shrines do for like the offlane. I think the Shrines were the idea to be able to even out the really stupid idea, the very unintuitive idea that suiciding new neutrals was a good thing, right? Like that was like the previous patch, that's what everyone did. It was like, oh, I'm about half health, half mana. Yeah, it's about time to reset and just go to suiciding neutrals, right? So I think Shrines were a way to be able to kind of offset, that idea to be able to keep supports constantly ready to go, keep heroes always in lane, always bringing this action. But there is the idea that this also closes. I think that the map is very small now because of the shrines and their positioning. If you look at them, the outer shrines are actually closer to the other side of the map than even the tier 1 towers. And I think in many ways this does. It takes away some of the big strategical depth that was in previous patches. I think we are going to see a lot of 5-man run-at-you strategies and a lot of action, which is going to be a lot of fun to cast and a lot of fun to play, but I think it does make things, strategically speaking, a little bit simpler.
For the base defense, though, with the shrines in the base, and I disagree with adding them into the base, and also, unsurprisingly, I keep forgetting to use them, so I'm dying in my
Or
base.
accidentally click on them, too.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that adds to the whole defending the base, and I think it makes it slightly too easy the first 30 minutes.
Okay.
It
What
only
do
gives
you
so
like?
much.
What do you like? What have you enjoyed about the new patch?
Level 25 talent tree, I think, is very interesting. I like the battle hunger from Axe. Unsurprisingly, it's a hero I play a lot.
Shock.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's big and burly, and that's something you always dreamed to be but couldn't be.
We're just off to such a good start this morning. No, but I just there's a lot of interesting ways of building the hero, like Kevin said earlier, and the whole getting 1400 extra damage from battle hunger, for instance, is something I like a lot.
Yeah.
That's just like the one hero I've been playing, obviously.
Overall, how would you summarize, Kevin? And you haven't got 9 hours this time.
Can I have 9 minutes? Is that too much?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
9 seconds.
it's
Go.
it's fun to hop into a game and not know what people are doing. Like you don't see the same builds.
Really, you're enjoying that part of it?
No, it's just like you can hop into a game. They could have the same items. It's interesting to see the difference between different players. Some players might value one talent, some might value a different. So I find myself spectating games, and I just click on heroes throughout the game, and I just enjoy getting that new depth of knowledge that hasn't really been discovered and figured out yet. And that's what we're going to see this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Cap, that is the biggest issue, isn't it? What is the meta? No one really knows. Every team's going to
Not
be
even the pro teams
theory
know.
crafting what they can do and how this can work. And they'll be like, aha, we found something that we think works, and we think we can win this entire tournament based on a couple of theories that we. But every team is thinking that.
I think this is going to be the tournament that is going to be decided by theory crafting more than any other tournament before. Like every other tournament, when there was a new patch, first of all, there wasn't a patch that changed the game inherently as much as this one in Dota 2. And I think the other thing is that we also had this period of time. It came out right after Boston, and right after Boston is where most of these teams are looking to go on holiday and that sort of thing, right? So these teams haven't actually really put these ideas that they have in their heads truly to the test, right? So every single one of these teams is going to have a different idea about Dota. They have different theory crafting, and they're going to pull all of these ideas into these games, and we're just going to see this madness of what actually works and what doesn't stand up to the test.
Okay, we're going to get more from all three of you in just a moment, but first of all, let's give you some information about the tournament itself and how it shapes out. We're going to start today with our group stages. Group A and B will both be played today in terms of the opening matches. Both of those are best of ones. We'll also see the winners' games in both of those groups, best of 3. Tomorrow we'll move on to the elimination matches and the decider games, which will eliminate 4 teams in total. That leaves 4 for the semi-finals on Finals Day Sunday, and of course our grand final. Plenty of money up for grabs, of course, here, as you will have come to expect from ESL One. This one's no different. $250,000 up for grabs, with $125,000 to just the winners. So there you have it. That's how the tournament shapes up. But first of all, we're going to get into our 2 groups, and first up is Group A. It's a very interesting group indeed, filled with promise and expectation on many players, and also a bit of a wild card from the home team. This is Group A.
Virtus.pro had high expectations at Boston, but finished out of the top 4. One of the tournament favorites, VP, will be disappointed with anything less than a finals run. Fnatic will try to return to their glory days with 3 new players and home crowd advantage. Expectations will be high with both Malaysian superstars Mushi and Yamate on the roster. Newbie was one of China's great hopes at the major, but finished in bottom 8. They will aim to bounce back and restore some national pride. Team NP has steadily improved throughout the fall season. They placed top 8 at the Boston Major and will aim to win their first major international title.
A very interesting group indeed, with 4 fantastic teams. Plenty of heritage in there and plenty of home support, of course, for one team in particular. We'll start with that team, Kevin, Fnatic. It's a little bit of an unknown because of the way that they've had changes coming up so close to this event. How do you think they fare?
I think they have a pretty good shot. I mean, they still have their same core, which is Mushi as well as Ohio. They added Febi, a fantastic 4 position. We're just a little unsure about Yamata on support. We'll see how he does. They say he's just a stand-in. And then obviously their mid player. Is he going to perform at the highest level, despite being a great pub player? That doesn't always translate to pro scene.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times. Home crowd support is surely going to play a part, Cap.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
players,
then again, it also puts pressure on you, especially considering the fact that they do have a newer player in your dream, right? That might be a pressure that he is not accustomed to. And again, maybe the transition from going from pub into pro may be actually a little bit extra stress there because he's got the home crowd and so many people cheering for him.
Yeah.
That being said, we do have Sumail, Miracle, Anna, We are.
Yeah.
There's a
Plenty of
long track
examples.
record of, well, Western mostly, but a long track record of players that actually on the middle lane come through and be these superstars, and that's exactly what Fnatic needs right now.
Yep. In terms of the way that this group is mixed up, we've got MP in there, with Italian Envy. He's got plenty of fans here as well. Newbie obviously want to bounce back very quickly from their Boston disaster. And then you've got Virtus.pro, probably the best team in Dota 2 towards the end of the last patch. So it's a great group, but how do you pick a winner?
I mean, considering the playstyle and what we expect from 7.0, I think Virtus.pro is the favorite of the group, just because of how I feel like it caters to their playstyle exactly, and because of how strong they've looked the past 2-3 months going into the major. And so I'd be surprised if they didn't perform at the highest level. I think they could end out most of these games in 20 minutes.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick apology to Virtus.pro fans right now. Apologies for the fact that Malk has made your team the favorite for this group. Obviously the curse.
That's not a curse.
Is it not?
No.
I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure you had a
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
real bad track record.
Yeah.
No, not even close.
Terrible.
Frankfurt Major, I was the highest rated analyst.
In
Never
what-
got to go
in
to a
what
major again.
Hold on. In what parallel world were you the best analyst in Frankfurt?
Statistically, that world, numbers,
Right,
stats.
really?
At Frankfurt this summer, I predicted Navi would do pretty well, and they did pretty well.
Pretty well.
Wow.
I think
Didn't
you
you
had
predict
as
them
the
to win the
favourites.
finals
He
too?
did.
Well, that was
He
just
did.
because.
Do you remember that finals,
please.
Jacob?
I'm also going to say that Yamete is the best player here, just because I want to please the crowd.
Oh,
Right.
Jesus.
Okay.
It was
Well,
working.
crowd pleaser, everyone loves Jacob now, that's for sure. We're going to take a look at Group B next up, of course. It is another fantastic field team of fantastic field teams, of course, in this group. Two in particular stand out, of course, because they were in the TI6 Grand Final. This is Group B.
Digital Chaos placed top 4 at the Boston Major, but have yet to fully recapture the magic that led to their stunning TI6 run. Execration have their visas and their invite to ESL One, but most importantly, after narrowly missing 2 straight big events, they have the hunger to prove they belong among the top teams in the world. Warriors Gaming qualified through the Malaysian qualifier, and they look to build on their top 8 major finish in a rematch of the Boston group stages against Wings. Wings may have lost their aura of invincibility at Boston, but the team still remains one of the most skilled and dangerous in Dota. At Genting, the new chaotic patch may be perfect for their fun, creative style.
Yeah, it's a very good point made in the video, Cap. You've spoken about it a number of times backstage, of course. This patch in particular could suit how Wings play.
Yeah, I think that I think part of the problem is that the previous patch was very even and that there were so many heroes that could have potentially been picked up. Then I think that was a big advantage that Wings had in the draft, that they were able to pull from certain heroes that maybe people weren't thinking about that were actually perfectly viable, and it came as a surprise to teams, and it ended up winning them drafts most often. But this patch, whenever you have a patch that changes this much, there's no way you're going to have nearly anywhere close to the same amount of balance, which I think then closes off the hero pool. And I think that may be a detriment to Wings. I think that the natural aggression playstyle is going to be good for them, but I think from a drafting perspective, they may have a little bit harder time.
Okay, Jacob, I want to pick up on DC. Probably got the loudest roar from the crowd. I found that a little bit surprising.
Yeah,
but
In a
nevertheless,
group of 3 Asian teams and
indeed,
DC, that
yeah,
is
and they got
sort
the
of
loudest
surprising.
crowd. But in all seriousness for this team, they've come a long way in a very short period of time. Ever since TI, they kind of rocketed into people's mind of, okay, these guys can potentially win big tournaments now. We understand that.
I mean,
before that, we didn't know that.
Well, from the pro perspective, like if you asked any elite level player, they'd all say that DC had a lot of potential. They had some of the.
But they've never delivered on it. Is
Yeah,
that-
definitely. But it's, a player like Saxa, for instance, didn't really get to shine until he got on a team like that. Misery suddenly stepping up after he won the Shanghai Major. Everyone knew he was capable. Now he's a captain. He's doing superbly well. He's one of, if not the most experienced player in the world right now, alongside Puppy.
Yeah, it's a great point. Experience. I was going to raise that with you. Rasmus is that experienced player. He's been to every TI, every major. That's going to be really important over the next couple of days as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the new patch, things are changing. There's got to be a lot of creativity coming fast. You've got to take what other teams are doing well as well. So having a really good coach, I'm sure, is going to also make a big difference.
Other teams in this particular group, Execration?
So what I find interesting about this group, or rather this tournament, and that it's so fresh, it's a new start, is that there's these 2 dark horse teams in the group, right? We have Execration and we have Warrior Gaming. And both of these teams can upset because of how the tournament stage is done. It's best of 1. And if you have if you're a one-trick pony, or if you have some kind of cheese up your sleeve, you can upset any of these teams in the tournament.
And I think it's most often the time when patches are determined, there's usually a region that is somewhat right about their ideas of how the patch works, and other regions will then push towards that. But with a completely new patch like this, it's actually a toss-up. We have no idea what region is going to be able to figure out the patch the fastest, and it very could be Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's very interesting indeed. We're going to head to a break very shortly, but I do want to get your thoughts and get your predictions. Then we're not going to put you on the spot so much and give graphics and monitor it and do all the because it's so up in the air, right? But is there one team or maybe a set of teams, Kevin, that stands out for you where we might see the winner come from?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody would assume Virtus.pro is most likely going to win Group A. I think Newbie could definitely be another team that outperforms there. There's some talk yesterday that NP, very, very good at theory crafting. That could give them a big advantage to find something that's OP, abuse it at the right time, get a set ahead of somebody else that may be slightly better in other cases. And out of Group B, I would say maybe Digital Chaos and Wings possibly, but we could definitely see Execration or Warriors Gaming come through. Warriors Gaming had a great performance at Boston. Same thing could happen here.
Kat, agree?
I'm going to put, if I'm going to actually lead, we did our whole rehearsal, and I was leading towards VP, but I just was thinking about it, and I think the offlane position has become more important with the changes in 7.0, so my favorites are going to be the teams that, the top teams that have the best offlaners, and I think Newbie, Digital Chaos, and Wings definitely stand out in that regard. And I think the dark horse for me would actually be Team NP, because they also have a very strong offlaner, and this is a theory crafting patch. This is a theory crafting period of time, and if I think of theory crafting and teams in the past, Cloud9 was one of the only teams who had really good, interesting ideas that were very unique and executed them within actual matches. I've heard multiple teams say, oh, we have this really cool strategy that involves X and Y, right? And you never actually see it in an official. Cloud9 was always a team that was willing to do something like that, and I think in a tournament like this, that is a big advantage.
Okay, just a quick mention for Cloud9 as well. Congrats on your Dota team. It's good to have you back in Dota 2. Jacob?
Well,
predictions?
Sort of sucks being the last one, but I'm going to side with both of the guys regarding...
But that's so boring.
NP. No, but so theory crafting, it all comes back to that, right? This is the first tournament of the year. They have AUI, they have Envy. In the Western world, probably both known as the biggest theory crafters of all time. And so I think that can really benefit them. Then you have MSS on the offlane. I think Tidehunter is one of his best heroes and one of the best offlane picks right now. So I can very well see NP go far. I'm still going to stick with Virtus.pro as the number one in that group.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with DC and the other group, just because I think they can play everything.
All right. Do you think the winner actually of the whole tournament comes from one of those two teams, or is it a wider pool?
VP or DC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Bold. I like it. It's good. A good start to the day. We are headed towards a break right now, but when we come back, of course, we do have our first match of the day. Are you ready for Virtus.pro versus Fnatic? You better be.
ESL One Genting is brought to you in part by